All right, this is the Friday after Kobe Bryant's passing. We're watching the Lakers and his memorial, and I'm with my friend Jason, who's been a lifelong Laker fan just like me, and he has some thoughts. He's a sports expert, so he knows a lot more about sports than I do, and he can tell us about what he thinks of Kobe, his legacy, his life, and everything.
Yeah, so thanks, Xavier. I've been a lifelong Laker fan myself, and was very fortunate to grow up in the Showtime era with Magic and Kareem and Worthy and Scott and all those great players. And Magic's always been my favorite player, and it's really ironic because Kobe used to frustrate the heck out of me, man. You see a guy that had so much talent, Jordan-esque, and we've seen him grow from a 17-year-old. And what would frustrate me is the games where he would, get shot-centric and want to take every shot as if he was the only other guy in the court for the Lakers. And
Yeah, a lot of the ball hog.
yeah, exactly. A lot of that kind of ball hog moniker was well deserved. But at the same time, this has been so bizarre for me because, like I said, Magic was my favorite player, and I definitely respected Kobe, thought he was phenomenal as an athlete, as a basketball player. But this really has hit me. And, man, I found myself just bawling on multiple occasions watching videos of him and videos of other people that he's either played with or against, people that he's mentored. And I've been trying to rationalize why has this been such a challenge for me from an emotional standpoint. And really, I think everyone you've seen worldwide, and in particular across the basketball world and in California, Southern California, LA, we've all been hit. And why is that? Why has this been so emotional for everyone? And one of the things I related to is that movie, The Truman Show. Where Jim Carrey is basically born and raised into this TV show without him knowing. And by the end of the movie, he figures this out and he's trying to escape, and the whole world is just rooting for him, and they're just emotionally tied to him because they've seen him from the time he was born, before he was born, becoming a man and discovering his true purpose. And I feel like this is exactly why we're so tied to Kobe. We've seen him grow from a young man, a teenager, missing those 2 shots in Utah, air balls, in the playoffs, and everyone was so concerned for him. How is he going to handle it? He's only a 17-year-old. And even then he said, I got this. And we saw him then evolve when they played Indiana for the championship, and Shaq fouls out, and Shaq at that point felt that he had let the team down and they're going to lose the game, and Kobe went up to him and basically said, I got this. And he did. And he had obviously the challenge that took place on a personal level in Colorado. Was able to overcome that, and I think really evolve into a better husband, a strong father, someone who's given back to the community in many ways that we've seen. He had just so many phenomenal memories that he's given us from just ridiculous play that we've seen, championships. Shaq leaves, and at that point, as a fan, I'm thinking, well, that was it for our, championship run. And what happens? He overcomes that. 2 more rings with Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom. Then he has the Achilles injury, and I think if he wasn't a legend before that, he was definitely a legend after that. He ruptures his Achilles. The average person, when you rupture your Achilles, it feels like you got shot, right? You're down for the count. Stretcher has to come out. They got to, wheel you off the court. And he goes to the free throw line, knocks down 2 free throws, walks to the bench. That is legendary by itself. At that point, he already had 5 rings. And then, of course, his last game, man, he dropped 60. And I just rewatched that game, when they had the replay on it. And what I really focused on is, man, this guy was exhausted by the fourth quarter. I mean, he was just exhausted. He had not played that many minutes the entire season. And we got a chance to see through basketball a guy who put so much time and effort into preparation, into hard work, to dedication. It's easy for us as, lay people to be able to relate that to real life and take that example and implement that in what we do, whether it's in our work, in our life as a parent, and of course what he's done since. He goes out and he gets an Oscar within a year, basically, of retirement. And so many, as we talked about, so many different guys or people in the genre have worked their entire careers and never got an Oscar. You talked about what
Martin Scorsese. He was a director for 40 years, and he's done some of the greatest films. And it wasn't, I think, to the Gangs of New York that he won his Oscar, and that was only within the last 15 years.
Exactly. And there was an interview with Spike Lee that I heard recently, where he said, "Look, this jerk goes out and gets, he leaves basketball, starts making these short films, gets an Oscar." And Spike Lee, I don't think he's ever won, right? So
no, I don't think he's ever won.
And so it just goes to show that whatever this guy put his mind to, he was successful. And I think lastly and most important, we saw him become just a phenomenal father, with these 4 girls, dedicating his time to being a coach, being a dad. And, there's so many phenomenal parents out there, moms and dads, and nobody gets accolades, nobody gets recognition for that. And for some reason, we saw Kobe doing that, and it just took it to another level for us. And so, this, I think, has really been hard for everyone, but we've been very fortunate to see this guy grow from a 17-year-old to a 41 or so year old, and evolve both as a man, as an athlete, as a father, as a husband. And it makes what happened so much more tragic to think about what he could have continued to do and the legacy he could have continued to build. But he will go down now as really more than a legend, because there's so many legends in sports, and again, my favorite player being Magic. What happened here with Kobe and what he's been able to do, and the stories that have come out about how he's mentored people, not just in basketball, but in life and in other sports, and his philanthropy, his silent philanthropy, his giving nature. And we lost a great individual. We didn't just lose a great basketball player and an icon in LA. The world lost a great person, man. And so it's been really hard to rationalize why this happened, how this happened. But I think that minimally what we can do and what we should do is find a way to adopt the Mamba mentality in our own lives. And that might mean different things for different people. I know for me, it just means that you attack life with vigor in everything that you do. You dedicate yourself to it. And I know that Kobe would say the same thing. It's not just about basketball. Everything that you do, you need to attack with vigor, with preparation, with hard work, with dedication. And at the end of the day, with love. And that's, I think, what we got a chance to see him become. And what we're probably all proud of is, Angelinos and Southern California fans.
Yeah, I was definitely saying, right now, I think he's going to, reach Bob Marley status. Are there other musicians who are better than Bob Marley? Yeah. But Bob Marley is a legend around the world who's going to be remembered forever. As I was telling you earlier, Elvis was probably the best known musician that we've ever seen. And you talk to kids today, they have no idea who Elvis Presley is. But they knew who Bob Marley is. Michael Jordan's arguably the greatest basketball player of our times, or of ever. And he won't be remembered the way that Kobe Bryant's going to be remembered. There'll be murals around the world. There'll be people in Africa with murals of Kobe Bryant, or writing 24 on their homemade jerseys.
I think definitely a big part of it is the era in which we're in, the communication era, if you want to call it that, social media, just the ability for the world to communicate and to see news and to get information extremely quick. And, maybe if someone like a Michael Jordan played in Kobe's era, things would be different. But is Kobe the best? Like you said, no, he's not the best basketball player ever. You can argue that guys like Mike are certainly better. But something about Kobe and the way that he played, it resonated with people. And having seen Michael Jordan play, they were really the same guy. Michael Jordan was, an assassin, a killer. He had that Mamba mentality. And that's evidenced in how the Air Jordan brand has exploded, right? And it's still this day just a phenomenal brand. And Kobe had that same thing. He had that same ability that whatever he touched, it turned to gold. And, I think definitely what makes it more difficult is the fact that his daughter passed with him and all these other people that, were on the helicopter with him. And, they left behind many loved ones and they're suffering as well. But in terms of Kobe, this guy is someone who will always be remembered in Laker lore, in basketball lore. But again, across the world, man, he goes to China. He's the most beloved athlete in China, right? He's the most beloved athlete in Italy. I mean, this guy is a global icon. And like you said, 20 years from now, the whole world will still know Kobe almost in the same way they know him now. I think that's why the mourning is so great.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. You want to plug your Instagram so people can follow you?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Drams and Sticks. For those of you who don't know, Drams is a dram is another name for an alcoholic beverage like a scotch or a whiskey or a bourbon. Kind of a fancy name for it. Some Drams and Sticks. And a little bit about my kind of lifestyle when I'm not working hard and trying to integrate the Mamba mentality in my life because everybody needs an outlet. But, I think ultimately it's a way, like social media is for anybody else, to express what you love, what you like to do. But, thank you for having me on and talking about Kobe. And hopefully everybody will be able to take what legacy Kobe's left behind and implement that in their lives in some way, Mamba out.